Hello everyone, Maria and
Gina.
Reflect and Reset, your favorite show. And look at this. Look how
We are
professional we're getting.
Soon it's going to say CEO,
Presidente.
guest.
So we have our director's chairs and we are getting very professional for you because we want to make sure we give you the best. So thank you so much for watching. Last week we took a little break. We had a lot going on. Incredible week
Of course,
with the
we
holidays.
have to prepare ourselves for
Maria's birthday.
Maria's birthday. That's right. She turned the nickels, the double nickels.
55.
55.
Wow.
Yes. I was telling
Look
people
young.
that I was going to be 54, but guess what? It's the speed limit that most people
The nickels, double nickels.
double nickel. So I want to thank you all. Actually, I got so many people reaching out to wish me a happy birthday. So thank you for your support. Your love is definitely felt. So we are here with a very interesting guest.
Yes.
And Gina, as usual, is going to do the
I'm going to do
introduction.
the instructions. So, and excuse me if I don't get the name right, but it's Kunal Tewani.
That's correct.
All right, I did
See,
it.
it's so good.
And actually, Kunal is a immigration lawyer, and he works right upstairs from us.
Yep.
So I just found out that he moved in January, and we're going to get a lot of information about him, especially with the regulation that's happening with the public benefits law.
Absolutely.
And we're going to give you some insights, so anyone who knows anybody who might need some of these services, we're going to make sure we give you his number, how you can contact him.
Wonderful. And I didn't get the memo about your birthday, so I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed about
It's,
that.
I know.
Surprise!
But
Everyone got the number.
we should have tell everybody in the building, Gina,
I'm sorry.
next
It's
year.
all my fault.
Next year.
So why don't
So-
you tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
yourself?
absolutely. So I grew up right here in Westchester, in an extended family. I'm Indian, but I was born in the U.S. But I grew up in one house with my extended family. There was 18 people.
Oh, well.
In one
Wow.
house. Yep. And we come from a joint family business. My father actually makes dresses, skirts, things like that. Sells
we
them
need to meet him.
Burlington Coat. Yeah, he's a fashion guy. He's right in the
wow.
fashion district
Wow.
in New York. And I said, Dad, I can't work for you. I'm sorry. But by then it was around 2008, and the correction was happening, and we were trying to figure out what I can do. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to law school because I know I can help a lot of people doing that.
That's beautiful.
So coming from there, I started my practice in my grandmother's clothing store. I had about 200 square feet, and I'm not like most lawyers. I don't want to just set up a factory and commit malpractice all over the place. I like to take one case at a time, make sure I know what's going on, and how I can help individuals. Every case that comes into my office touches my desk first. And now I've done cases for people that are now musicians that are now Billboard 100 musicians. I've done cases for financial firms.
You know any Latina musicians?
I've actually done a few
Shawn
cases.
Mendes,
That's
I
how
hear, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't say, but actually,
Oh, sorry.
I may or may not have worked on his original visa
Oh, wow. Awesome.
through someone I used to work with, freelance.
Wow.
And I started up on my own, and I had a lot of these clientele. Now we represent a television network. It's basically the Telemundo of India.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, a lot of those clientele, but a lot of individuals as well. And a little bit about me, I also married a foreign national, and coming from a business family, I always joke with her because she's also from a business family. So I said, I had to import my wife, and she hates that. She hates that. But I just found it funny
I could
because
understand.
she works upstairs with me. She's helping me with the IT setup, and in collaboration with you guys, she actually is setting up a link so that and I wanted to offer this to all Forme members and future members. They could just go on the link and they'll have a complimentary session with me where I can do a discovery call to understand what the requirements are.
Oh, that's
I wanted to offer that.
wonderful.
For your birthday.
Aw.
See, and actually that's the best birthday present because it's about giving back.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So I feel amazing when I know that I'm impacting
Absolutely.
and we are impacting here so
Absolutely.
many lives. So it must feel for you also great.
Absolutely, and
to know that.
the fear from clients that call me, I wish I could do more change. I wish on a larger level, but I know I have to start somewhere. It starts
Yeah.
at home. So I want to impact the communities that we have close to home first, and then we can work on a larger change.
So what are you doing with
So,
your clientele now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot of, we've represented DACA recipients, we've represented a lot of people that marry U.S. nationals and green card holders, help them with their immigration status. Any complex issues that arise, we're always there.
And immigration is one of the hottest topics nowadays. I mean, there is so much happening, and this is a population that is so scared in so many different ways. So I'm sure that you get to see that.
I do, on a daily basis. It's really frightening. But I brought my notes just so I don't miss anything for you guys. I wanted to get into the topic for today, the public benefit issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, this goes to discuss the admissibility grounds. So what typically happens is, for example, I don't want to get into the employment side of things because that's a whole other topic, and I will set up a webinar for all the international students out there that are going to become former members.
I definitely would love for you to do that, because
absolutely.
this is something that we can share with
Absolutely.
all of
I'm
our.
happy to do that.
And I know family members actually from the Dominican Republic, right, Tony?
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
that are interested in employment, immigration status.
Happy to help.
Information.
But I want to talk first about, so there's the employment side and there's the family side. That gets you to qualify to apply for an immigration benefit. Now, you can either apply for an immigrant visa abroad through consular processing, or you can adjust status while you're here if you're in valid status. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, they forgive unlawful presence but not entry without inspection. So if you came in without a valid visa, there are certain grounds that you'll have to qualify, which are extreme hardship grounds, to qualify for admissibility, basically. There's a waiver of inadmissibility.
Is this new?
No, this is old.
This is old.
What's new, and what I want to touch upon, because I know we only have a limited amount of time, is the ground specifically called the public charge. Typically, it used to be that the adjudicator would only look backwards. I'm sorry, they would only look forwards. They would only look, is this individual who's applying for an immigrant benefit, will he become a public charge?
Which means dependent on the
Exactly,
economy.
depending on, well, not the economy, but their own individual factors. So what was usually just required was, you have what's called an I-864 affidavit of support, which is filed with your I-485 adjustment of status when you're filing for your green card while you're here. The I-864 goes to show that, yes, the person who sponsored my application on a family base is going to support me, and it's actually a binding contract with the federal government that they're signing, saying that if in the event there is a cost that I cannot, as an immigrant, sustain basically or afford, that they will be liable for that.
Wow, I believe that.
But now, and the reason I brought my notes is because this literally just happened. This new rule was published August 14th, which is less than a month ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. And they're planning on implementing these changes on October 15th, so 60 days after. But there are 2 pending lawsuits that are filed by nonprofit agencies to kind of halt this, because they're saying that this is not right. This is not something that the federal government should be doing, that Department of Homeland Security should be doing. Now what they're going to be doing under the new rule, and again, I want to read it word for word for you so that we can break down what each individual aspect of it means, because one line, one rule can have like 4 different parts, and they each mean something different when it pertains to your individual cases.
Okay.
Okay. The new rule, the adjudicator has to use a complex totality of the circumstances test, which means they don't just consider 1 or 2 factors. They look at everything. And they're now drafting a new form called the I-944, where you have to prove self-sufficiency almost, essentially. They're going to look at the 5 most critical factors of the foreign national, which are age, health, family status, education and skills, and any assets and resources or financial status that they may have currently. But the problem is this gives the officer, the adjudicator, basically too much power.
Mm-hmm.
And what results is that the adjudication is, and it's not going to be consistent. Because when the adjudicator has power, they're not using a set standard. They're using their own interpretation of what the new rule is going to be.
Wow.
So,
So if somebody is sick,
mhm.
they could be denied.
Yes and no. Yes and no. So I didn't read the rule. The new rule basically says a non-citizen who receives a specified public benefit for more than 12 months in the aggregate, and I'll get into that, within any 36-month period is technically considered inadmissible. And the reason why the aggregate is so important is because if you have 2 different benefits within 1 month, they count that as 2 months.
Oh, got it.
So if someone's receiving, for example,
Oh, wow.
Section 8
SNAP,
housing.
Section 8 housing, and then SNAP, which is for nutritional benefits, in 1 month, that's counted as 2 months.
And
so
Medicaid.
over the course of 3 years, 36 months, if they have 12 months in the aggregate,
That's
they're
fine.
considered inadmissible.
So, with that in mind, if somebody is using Medicaid and using Section 8 and they're gearing up to the 12 months a lot faster, right?
Absolutely. It all
What
adds up.
happens when they get to over 12 months? Are they sent home? Are they deported? Like, what happens to these
Yes
people?
and no. Deportation is a whole nother issue, and a lot of times, and especially with the current administration, it's happening more than it should, and people are being put in detention facilities and things like that. Essentially what happens is when you go in for a family-based adjustment of status interview, prior to that time, the officer has already reviewed all your qualifications. And then during that time, they're gonna say, do you have any additional evidence for me? There's several grounds that they look at. One is the inadmissibility, based on all these grounds, and public charge is one of them. And then they look at, your health, and they look at all these other factors. But for the public charge, if they find you inadmissible, technically yes, they'll deny your I-485, which is the adjustment of status application, and they can issue an NTA, which is a notice to appear. Or they can come knocking on your door if you have other criminal issues or things like that, if you're already in their purview, in their
So,
sights.
notice to appear means you're going in front of the judge.
Yes,
And that,
for removal proceedings.
for removal proceedings.
For removal proceedings.
Well,
Yeah.
who would appear? Like, if
Well,
you-
they have to, because otherwise then, ICE comes knocking on your door, and
Yeah.
you don't want that. It's better to appear and find a way, hire a lawyer who will help you fight whatever the grounds are for your inadmissibility.
Got it.
And I'm working on a case right now. It's really, it's unfortunate. It's not a public charge issue, but this poor woman was defrauded by a company that claimed to offer immigration benefit services. She believed them because she's new here. I mean, would you know,
Yeah,
like
right.
if I went to India, even somewhere where my family is, I wouldn't have one clue. Who do I trust? Who do I go to? If one of my friends says, hey, you know what? This service is gonna get you your employment authorization card. Now all of a sudden,
Yeah,
she
right.
says, oh my God, I have high hopes. If she had gone to, a lawyer, a decent lawyer, they would have told her, well, based on these factors, you may not qualify. Now, she said, hey, you know what? They promised me the world. I'm gonna get my employment authorization. I'm gonna be able to work in the US, and that's a dream. It's absolutely a dream. But what they did was, they filed a fraudulent marriage case for her without her knowledge. She gave all the correct information,
Wow.
okay? And there are services out there that do this, and then after a year, they disappear. They take your, $20,000, $30,000, and they disappear. And so this poor woman comes in crying and says, I don't know what to do. So I looked at it and I said, you know what?
Can I ask you, how do you protect yourself from that? Like, what is a way, because that's information, like, I
Absolutely.
guess we are ignorant in a way because we're
Absolutely.
not out there, but like, how do you protect yourself from something like that happening?
Well, the first thing that I tell all my clients, all of them, I say, as if you were going to a doctor and the doctor gave you a diagnosis, what is the first thing you would do?
Second opinion.
Exactly. I say, don't trust me. I will show you where I get this information from. I will sit with you. I'll have my team sit with you hand and foot. But go get a second opinion. Tell me there's something better I can be doing, not only for you, but so I can learn. Right?
Can you check online though, or do
Absolutely,
you think these people are also they're faking it online too?
So no, they wouldn't put this information up online. They would just, it would be kind of a referral based.
So they can check online for
They can
references,
check online,
right?
exactly.
To
Absolutely.
reviews. I mean, this is what people
Absolutely.
do with medical.
I mean, you know what the crazy thing is? So after this poor woman goes to a lawyer, and the lawyer files, she's actually now married to a US citizen. So they didn't know all this stuff. And in 5 seconds, I could have told her, this employment authorization document is based on a marriage. What happened? Either you're not telling me something, or you don't know what happened. So what ended up happening, her lawyer didn't do the diligence, and he files a legitimate case for her, but she was found inadmissible for fraud.
Goodness.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
And she didn't know this, and now it used to be 4 to 6 months you'd get your green card if you were married to a US citizen. Now, because of certain changes, and I'll get into that in another webinar, it's taking a year and a half. I'm married to a foreign national, right? It took me, we got married in 2017, we filed our papers in 2017, November. January 2018, which is only a couple months, we got notification from immigration saying all your papers are set, we don't need anything else, you're being scheduled for an interview. Can you guess how long it took me to get an interview? And I'm a US citizen born in the US. Not that makes me any special. I mean,
A few months?
A year and a half.
Wow.
Just last month she got her green card.
Wow.
I mean,
And that wasn't
it
the
has
case
nothing to do
before,
with,
right?
Exactly. It's changed dramatically.
Dramatically.
Yep.
So what's happening with the woman now?
So now I'm fighting her case, and I looked at all the rules from ineffective assistance of counsel, where she didn't have an attorney who really did his homework. But we didn't want to do that, because if we argue that and then they already see that there is fraud, they're going to say you're just trying to blame someone.
Right.
And they don't want to see that. So we're fighting her case. We're filing a new waiver of inadmissibility on different grounds, and we have like a 500-page packet that we've prepared with all the arguments that satisfy grounds of inadmissibility. It's not what you would think of. It's not like, okay, you know what, I'm going to be either separated from my spouse, or they'll have to relocate to a country that they may not be comfortable in. That doesn't qualify. But we'll get into that at another webinar. But
Very interesting,
it is. It's
And now
fascinating.
you can understand how people are so nervous.
Yeah.
Because number one is they don't know where to turn.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who to trust. And now this is their lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's their lives that they're
Yeah.
They don't know if they're going to be deported. They don't know
Absolutely.
if somebody's going to turn around and say, nope, that's inadmissible. Nope, you can't stay here.
Absolutely. And that's why, seeing all the good work you're doing for the community, I wanted to make an offer. As I mentioned, we will be hosting webinars that we're going to be preparing, but I will, you guys will put up a
I'll
link.
definitely
Put up a link.
Yeah, we'll
It'll
put up
be,
the link.
Forme dot, and I'll give the final version to you. But through that link, through Forme's link, you will get a complimentary discovery call so that I can understand what you're dealing with and see if there's a way that my office can help you.
That's great.
That's
That's great. I mean, it breaks our heart because
Absolutely.
we see what is happening with this community, and the fear is tremendous.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people are pulling together too.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful to see. I just got an email. There's an event that is happening at the Terrytown Library that I registered us to go because we want to find out. We want to be informed.
Yeah.
And you're giving us so much information about the new rules. They're actually going to be talking about.
There's a lot of
This
articles out there.
Right.
So I've been reading
Yeah.
articles after articles to try to figure out, number one, how we can help, and number two, what really does that mean to even our business?
Absolutely.
And for people even using the emergency room, thinking, well,
Yeah.
it's free care.
Yep.
You know, they understand that there's implications for that as well.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's just trying to make yourself as knowledgeable as possible, just so you can pass the information along.
Absolutely.
You know?
So they do have a list of factors that are considered, factors that immigration would consider like grossly negative, and then factors that are strongly positive. And for example, having your own private health insurance is a positive factor because it is expensive. And that's one factor that's used to show that this person can self-sustain.
Right.
But your Natalie came to me and she told me about this wonderful program that you started.
medical
Tell me more
membership.
about that. I mean, I
Yeah.
know I'm not trying to make a sales pitch on your behalf. I mean, this is the first time I've
Oh,
been
so we
doing
do it all the time.
But no, but I'm actually intrigued because I would actually bring that to my clients as well.
Exactly,
I would
and
be
your
happy
clients
to.
are perfect for this because, like you said, they can't utilize the public benefits.
Yeah.
You know, for an aggregate of 12 months, like we just learned, and we bypass that,
Yeah.
and we give them the medical care. You want to explain?
Yeah, so the idea with the medical membership is that everyone that doesn't have insurance qualifies, everyone. So if you are a transition, you know, and you're
Yeah.
going through immigration, trying to get your green card and everything else, or becoming a citizen,
Sure.
that, you know, the medical membership is for everyone, it's for you too. So we always say, if you don't have insurance for as low as $30 a month, you get access to urgent care. $60 a month, you get access to urgent
That's
care,
wonderful.
primary care.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the medical membership is that we have united all these specialists in the area. There are community partners, and we're actually doing in Facebook, you've seen throughout our social media that we are doing a spotlight of all of our members
Right.
because the
Now,
you know,
members
the
are
work that
our
they're
community
doing.
partners, our community partners, yeah.
Our community partners, so we have imaging centers that are like T3 Imaging that are giving us tremendous discount for all of our members. We have the local pharmacy, Sunshine Pharmacy. We have specialists, dermatologists, labs, Quest Diagnostic,
And, you know,
80%
And I think
discount.
what's really important, and what we were talking about earlier, is that some of the populations that we're dealing with don't understand the value that they're getting.
Absolutely.
You know, and because they don't understand what insurance is and how much
Yeah.
insurance costs and how much you still have to pay into it.
Well,
So, you
one
know,
thing I'll tell you is that I've had clients that come in, you know, we'll do like a business visa, an L1 visa. They have a company abroad. They have to transfer out an intra-company executive to a U.S. branch office. And he asked me, he's like, how much would insurance cost me? I don't want to pay for too much insurance. And I didn't know about you guys.
yeah,
But
well,
now I
now
know.
you know.
But one thing I wanted to correct, so becoming a citizen, so there are certain classes of foreign nationals that don't, that this rule does not apply to. The first class would be like special immigrants, you know, anyone that's coming in as a refugee or an asylee, domestic violence victims, you know, trafficked individuals that were victims of trafficking. This does not apply to them.
Thank God.
And the second, I guess, class is people that are already LPRs, lawful permanent residents, who already have their green card, and they're applying for citizenship. This does not apply.
Okay.
However,
Yeah.
I wanted to just make that distinction because I know you mentioned citizenship.
Right, right.
But I do still find that I've never seen value like this before. And, you know, I'm a professional. You know, I have healthcare, but I've never seen a value like this. This is really, truly
Well, you know,
wonderful work. for the
we
community.
feel there are over 27 million people in the United States that are uninsured.
Yeah,
And this
wow.
community is a working community, but they cannot afford the premiums. I mean,
Yeah.
Gina and I are paying close to $900 a month.
And a $2,500 deductible.
Yeah.
still.
And
Wow.
you know, we have a business, we have no choice, because the other thing is that we also have learned that the number one reason for bankruptcy in the United States is medical bills.
Oh my goodness.
So we didn't know that. We had another guest that actually gave us that information, but we could understand because God forbid, you know, Gina or I get sick and we don't have insurance,
Absolutely.
and we have assets and we have a business, you lose everything.
And it's not transparent. You don't know what you're going to be billed when you walk into a doctor's office, an emergency room, if you get admitted into the hospital.
Yeah.
Those bills are asked. It's not like they're saying, okay, we're going to run this test, it's going to cost you this.
Yeah.
No, but that's what we do here. We say we're going to run this blood lab, this blood test, it's gonna cost you.
Can I ask you something? So how, like an MRI, how would that work?
$300.
And
That's
normally
why
1,500.
normally it's 1,500. We have
Normally it's
negotiated
1,500,
yeah,
and
we-
you negotiated on our behalf.
on the behalf of our members, $300.
A mammogram at the hospital is 1,300. We've negotiated $100.
So can I tell you something? So I have private health insurance, and I went for an MRI because I hurt my shoulder. I had a tear. I forgot what it's called because it's too technical. And I went for an MRI. The doctor, said that I needed one, otherwise he wouldn't know what's going on. And, I said, hey, I'm insured, all well and good. I thought I was gonna cover it. I had to pay $1,000 out of pocket.
Yeah.
$1,000.
You have a deductible.
I have a deductible, and I thought an MRI, I got hurt. Like,
Yeah.
I actually got hurt. I thought my insurance was gonna cover me.
No.
That happened to me too with a CAT scan, and I had to pay.
Amazing.
I ended up with a $3,000 bill from an emergency room
Oh
with
my
a CAT scan of CAT scan. We negotiated $250 for a CAT scan, and in a hospital you will pay close to $1,500.
Yeah.
It's $1,300.
And then you have your copay. If
Oh,
you're in
yeah.
the emergency room, they don't let you leave without paying your $500 copay.
Yeah. So we are not saying we resolved all the issues, but for
working on
all
it.
those people that just cannot afford insurance, and we encourage you to get insurance. So
If you can,
we don't
right.
want to. We want to make sure it's for those people that just cannot. And if you're out there without any umbrella, any, like Gina says, a safety net,
Flying without a net.
flying without a net, we are your place of for your medical services, because we resolve it. I've negotiated with. I have members that have gone to the emergency room. I had a member that had a kidney stone, ended up with a $10,000 bill
Oh my
after
goodness.
3 hours in the emergency room. I negotiated that rate for
Yeah.
them. So we are an advocate for
No,
you.
she didn't negotiate $10,000.
No,
She got the parade all the way down.
all the way down. So
Right.
it was
Make sure
close
it
to
was clear.
3, I believe it was. But it was a huge discount.
Sure.
So, but we obviously are going to continue to do a lot more work together, because number one, you're great. You're very knowledgeable,
I appreciate that.
and
I'm so happy
definitely.
to be here. Thank you.
Yeah,
for having me.
we're happy to have you, and we love your energy.
Yeah.
So we're all about energy.
Absolutely.
So this is a community that needs a lot of help. This is information that we need to continue to get out there. So we'll definitely have you back. We definitely would want you to do those videos so that we
Absolutely.
can send
The
it
webinars,
to
yeah.
the webinars, and we'll post them on our social media. Because the most important thing is you need to get yourself informed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of so much going on that we are misinformed.
Yeah.
Even I'm talking about it, a citizenship that those things qualify would affect you, but that's not the case.
Right.
So we need to continue educating ourselves. And obviously, you're there. He's in our building. So 711 South Broadway is the address.
On your way to come see us.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Tell
I won't
us-
accept walk-ins, but I will give you a call.
Yes.
Discovery call.
And do you have a
No
telephone
charge.
number that they can?
Absolutely. It's 347-767-3020. So you can call in. Either Milan or Henry upstairs will help you. Or you just go on the link. That's the easiest way. You can have a preset time, a time slot that's designated for you. I'll keep it free. Either you call in or I'll call you, whatever you set on the app. And it's easy as that.
That is
That's
awesome.
great. That's
That
great.
is awesome.
You guys have to take advantage of this.
We're running out of time. I mean, this is so interesting that I'm
We
like,
can,
no
we
way.
Can have you back. We can have you back. We can hit the next part. We can hit employment.
Sure.
We can hit the next section.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
but
endless.
if you're going to give a message to our the people that are viewing us, our fans, what would be the most important thing that they need to do?
Get
today?
informed. I mean, you said it. I couldn't have said it better than you. Get informed. Get the information. My goal is to empower your community, our community, us. Empower as much as possible, because the people that have the knowledge may be taking advantage of the system.
Yeah.
Whereas people that we're serving don't have that capacity. They're just out there trying to make it work,
Yeah.
right? And get empowered anywhere you can. Have your friends join. Have your friends sign up. We're giving you this information so that you can help them as well. Help your friends, help your families, get informed.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That was awesome. That was a great show.
This was a great show. We want to say thank you. Please, if you like us, make sure that you like us on all social media platforms.
Don't take my word for it. Get a second opinion.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. See you
Bye bye.
Take care.
Take care.